up, Janky fam? Now, you see a video like that and you think to yourself, I want to do that. But what you don't think about is all the extra BS that goes along with it. For example, this weekend I'm running at a track called Englishtown in New Jersey, and it's a pretty fast track, and one of which, if you go off track, you can screw yourself up or you can screw your car up really bad. So in an effort to avoid any of that doom and gloom, I'm gonna go over this car with a fine-tooth comb. And what that includes is going over the suspension, going over the steering components to make sure that nothing has come loose over, say, the last 4 or 5 events. I'm also gonna give this car an oil change because if I'm honest, it has been a while. Being this is my very first vlog, I should probably introduce the channel. My name is Chris Kramer. I run a channel called Janky Drift. People have taken to calling me Janky, which I don't know that I love, but nonetheless, this is my 2007 Nissan 350Z. I learned to drift on a driving simulator called the Assetto Corsa and then transitioned over to real life last year. The jump was surprisingly easy, and I decided to start a YouTube channel to kind of talk about the transition and to maybe help other folks who are looking to do the same. A little more about the car. Essentially, from a power perspective, it is mostly stock. I've got these super cool eBay intakes that came with the car. Don't judge me. Since I got it, I also had the cat's clog on me, and you're not gonna be able to see those, but it's got ISR high flow cats. And since I like to do things right, I went ahead and get a dyno tuned, and I think it put down 290 or something along those lines. And I forget what kind of dyno it was. Frankly, it doesn't matter. Dyno numbers are complete bullshit anyway. But yeah, aside from that, I have a welded diff, I have coilovers, I have my angle kit in the front, which you'll see in a little bit, and then I have a hydro in the car. But nonetheless, I'm gonna take you through the procedure from my prep in the garage all the way to getting out on the track so you can see exactly what goes into it. I'll be honest, there are a few things in this life that I hate more than doing oil changes. I think oil changes are one of those things that when you first start working on cars, it gives you this sense of accomplishment. And when you don't work on cars much, you get that same sense, but when you work on cars a lot, they are nothing but a nuisance. And evidently, every time I do an oil change, I get weaker because I can never get the fucking filter back off. Somehow, without fail, I'm like Superman when I put the oil filter on and like an 80-year-old man when I take the oil filter off. So on the rear, the main thing I'm going to check are these 2 arms here. And I haven't really had that many problems with them coming loose. I have had the collars for the coilover come loose a few times, so we're going to check that as well. But one of the biggest tells for me when something has come loose is when these little heim joints are kind of cockeyed or crooked on the ball, I guess you would call it. This one looks like it might be okay. This one looks like it's shifted a little bit, so we'll see. If you can see it, these are the collars I was referring to in the coilover that like to come loose. But it looks like we're good. So again, checking the collars on my coilovers. On a quick look, both sides of the upper look like they've remained relatively centric, so we should be good, but I will check the torque there as well. Another one of those joints on the bottom. That's good. Again, double checking torques. I don't know if that was interesting or not, so I'm not gonna make you sit through the second side. Basically, I'm gonna do the same exact thing on the passenger side, just double checking the torques on the front and the rear, checking the coilover collars and all that stuff. And here's why we do this shit, because this is an example of something that came loose. So you can see that heim joint is supposed to be running even across that ball, and it's crooked as shit. So we're gonna get that joint centric again, and then ugga-dugga the shit out of this thing. But I currently trailer my car to events. For a while, I was renting U-Haul trailers, and it was starting to get a little ridiculous in terms of the cost. I mean, I think it's like 60 bucks a day. But if you're late by even like an hour, they charge you for an extra full day. And with U-Haul being 130 bucks a pop, basically over 2 years, I would have paid for the full cost of a trailer. So I figured, screw it, let me just lay the money out up front and save myself some money in the end. The only unfortunate part is that the place we're living in doesn't have space for the trailer. So I currently keep it at a storage facility. And having to pick that up between events kind of sucks, but it's still better than using U-Haul. All right, it is about 7 p.m. I've been going since, I want to say 11 a.m. this morning. Granted, I did get sidetracked a few times, but yeah, I mean, basically I spent my full Saturday going over the car, getting everything prepped for the event tomorrow. The good news is that, I mean, all the extra little, torque checks and all that stuff, I'm probably not gonna do that for another, say, 2 or 3 events. So at this point, I'm gonna take a breather, set my alarm for tomorrow morning, and go tear it up on the track. All right, so we are on the way to E-Town. I'm about halfway through the hour to hour and a half drive, so Looking forward to getting on the track. Don't want to make you watch me drive any more than this, so I'll see you in a second. So we are officially here at Englishtown. I'm gonna get ready to get this car unloaded. If you've ever been here before, or if you've ever drifted at Englishtown, this grid is usually packed full of cars. I mean, like hundreds of cars. And you know, you'll wait in lines like 5 to 7 minutes in between each run. Today, I'm hoping to hot lap, which basically means that I'm going to just lap the track continuously without a break. And I'm going to beat the absolute hell out of this car. I mean, to be clear, man, I'm giving you a ride. I'm not taking your virginity.
I would hope not. If the people stuck. Man, one turn to a million, what is that?
All right, so we've got another, say, like 30 minutes of the session. Car started overheating on me a little bit in the last lap, so I let it sit for a bit. Hopefully we can get some more laps in without any bullshit. The dude in front of me, and I don't know if I can hook up the camera angle, but he went off the track and hit that tire wall, basically on his like 3rd or 4th lap of the day, cracked his radiator, so he's done, which sucks, but it's just those risks you take with drifting, I guess. But let's get to it. I don't know if it's doing anything, but basically I'm doing a lap My temp gauge is spiking basically all the way up to hot, and then I'm doing kind of a cool down section, so it's I don't know how many more laps we're gonna do today. What's clear though is that I need to swap out my coolant for some straight water, and then maybe get an upgraded radiator, we'll see. The other funny thing is that everyone tells me that you get tons of lap time out of Kendas, and they did much better than the Ironmans if I'm honest, but I basically ran through these things in like 10 laps or something like that. Something broke, huh? So the cool about this is you get the pit basically right on the track. I got my truck parked out here, I got my car parked out here. Pretty sure I broke some so there's that. Rear end started making some rattling noises, so we're gonna have to check that out when we get home. I think I'm gonna call it a day though. So there's a bunch of motorcycles running behind me, so excuse the noise, but I'm gonna show you how you know you had a good day at the track. Might be a little hard to see, right? But that right there, it's a giant ass hunk of rubber. But yeah, now we're gonna drive our asses an hour and a half home and see about some food. So I am home, it is the next day. I am a little beat up if I'm honest. Had a f***ing blast running the car. Unfortunately, I think I busted a rear axle, which is the second set that I've gone through on this car. I have another event that is the weekend after next. So this weekend I will be spending some time replacing the rear axles. So, but again, that's just the nature of the hobby. It requires a lot of time, a lot of maintenance, a lot of money, if I'm honest. But the return, the excitement, and all the other shit you get from it, I think is totally worth it. If you like this video, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'd really like to start doing more of these, so any comments, feedback, any of that stuff you got, I'll take it. But anyway, I'll see you next time.